I think a lot of people are trying to understand this really sad situation in Minneapolis. And to me, Kristi Noem comes to mind. Here's Kristi Noem here. She is the sitting Secretary of Homeland Security. She's from a small town in South Dakota. Here's Watertown from the sky. And here she is in a photo in 2011 when she was running to be a House of Representatives rep from South Dakota. And I learned that Kristi Noem had to leave college because her dad was killed in a farming accident, and then she had to go and take over the farm. And there were all these complications with taking over the farm as a young woman. And so she actually finished her degree online while serving as U.S. representative, even earning college intern credits from her position as a member of Congress. And in 2019, she wins the governor race. And then the pandemic happens and she refuses to impose a stay-at-home order. Outlets like Bloomberg in New York City did not like this, but people who didn't like the stay-at-home order did like it. So she was invited to speak at the Republican National Convention, and she says that she's good at standing up to cancel culture, and this is going to come back. She starts getting national attention, including from a Tennessee billionaire who gives South Dakota $1 million to deploy their National Guard troops to the Texas border in 2021. Here's the dude, Willis Johnson. He made his money upcycling classic cars, and she becomes a VP contender. But she writes this book where she talks about putting down a dog that was creating problems on her ranch, and it becomes a public scandal. So instead of becoming VP, she's nominated as the Secretary of Homeland Security, and she's confirmed by the Senate in not really a close vote. And the Department of Homeland Security is a huge agency. It has almost 250,000 employees. Outside the military, it's pretty much the largest branch of government. It's responsible for all of public security. I mean, so many things: immigration, terrorism, cybersecurity, maritime security, weapons of mass destruction. It's a lot. And there are a lot of people around Kristi Noem that want to pursue immigration stuff because it was a campaign promise that Donald Trump made, including this guy, Stephen Miller, who is a deputy chief of staff. He is apparently very aggressive. He has the complete trust of the president. And apparently he set this goal for Kristi Noem and her department for 3,000 undocumented migrant arrests per day. And there's this guy, Homan, who is an appointee by Donald Trump. And interestingly, he has been in this job or similar for a long time, and he won an award during the Obama administration. Because during the Obama administration, he was the executive associate director of ICE enforcement and removal operations, and before that, he was a New York police officer for a long time. And Homan is not afraid to be aggressive. He went into Portland and said all sanctuary cities are going to get double the law enforcement. And he's repeated this in lots of different places. And then you've got this guy, Lewandowski, who is a personal confidant of Donald Trump. He was a 2016 campaign manager, and apparently he and Noem are really close, and often he's the only person at really important meetings apart from Noem. But apparently Kristi Noem and Homan do not like each other. And my sense from the research is that Stephen Miller basically puts pressure on Kristi Noem to deliver a campaign promise for Donald Trump. Lewandowski is kind of her political insider homie, and Homan is the one who has relationships with the actual people on the street. And Kristi Noem is kind of the political person. Here she is getting a photo op in front of a maximum security prison. Here she is in tactical gear or a bulletproof vest, or even a firefighter. And I have to say that in my research, I came across what the left media likes to call her a lot, which is Ice Barbie. And even mainstream media outlets like MSNBC do this. And I have to say, that's a pretty disrespectful way to talk about her. And as this massive fraud scheme unravels in Minnesota, Donald Trump wants his administration to focus on Minnesota. So they organized this large surge of immigration agents to Minneapolis. And she even visited the place. And then this happens because Minneapolis is a very progressive city, and a lot of people in Minneapolis don't want ICE there. And Kristi Noem is defending her people. And I think it's worth pointing out that the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996, that's the prevailing immigration law of the land, and Bill Clinton signed it. It basically set up the system for us to remove more illegal people faster. And it's important to note that through the Supremacy Clause in our Constitution, this is the law of the land when it comes to immigration policy. And in the Take Care Clause of the Constitution that basically sets up the executive branch, the president shall take care that the laws are faithfully executed. And Kristi Noem derives her power at the Department of Homeland Security through the executive branch. So it's literally her job to enforce this law, even if people in progressive cities don't like it, even if governors don't like it, even if mayors Lots of mayors don't like it. Even if people want to block in ICE vehicles or ram them or do other things like that, immigration enforcement is literally her job, and her profile is built on this idea of resisting cancel culture. So my question to you is, should she be doing something different?